Hey everybody, thanks for joining me once again. You know, riding season's definitely here, and I don't know about where you are, but our summer weather arrived with a vengeance. It was 101 yesterday, and it's going to be pushing that triple digit mark again today. But I'm getting ready to take a road trip, and part of getting ready for a road trip is making sure my bike's all ready to go, among other things. This isn't going to be just an overnighter road trip. I'm going to be on the road for a little over 5 weeks. I'm going to cover just under 10,000 miles and go through about 11 states. So having my bike ready to go is definitely important. I just had my friends over at Cycle Addiction in Nampa, Idaho put a new front tire on for me. I'm going to raise the bike up here in a little bit and do the fluids, do all the other services I need to do on it before I head out. But that's only part of getting ready for a road trip. And I don't know about your process, but I thought I'd walk you through my process today and let you see what I do to prepare for a trip like this. So I'm going to get started changing the fluids. I'm not going to record that because there's a billion videos on YouTube telling you how to change the oil on your Harley. Yay. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it wrapped up. And that way that part of it will be done. And then I'll talk to you some more about my prep. All right, so I've got the bike all serviced. Changed the engine, transmission, and primary oils, and checked everything else over. Checked all my lights, checked brakes, checked clutch and brake fluids. Made sure all the fasteners, all the critical fasteners were tightened up. The exhaust and the mounts and the jiffy stand, the shifter linkage, floorboard mounts, foot peg mounts, pretty much anything I could put a wrench on, I did. And made sure that everything's ready to go. And as you can see, I'm all packed. Now, in a previous video, I kind of said how I pack my bike for a trip in general, and I'm not going to rehash all that. I'm just going to go and show you what happens when I'm getting ready to head out on a large trip like this. And this saddlebag here, the right side, is for my quick access things. So gloves and a couple of rags. This is my camera equipment, my tripod. I've got my coat down in the bottom down there because I'm heading out in 80-degree weather and I won't need my coat. On the other side, in the saddlebag, this one, yes, she's packed up. My gas can, my tool kit, my jumper box, my flashing beacon. I'll show you that in just a second. Underneath there is my first aid kit and my tire repair kit. My chaps go right on top, and underneath that is my rain gear. And yeah, there's another rag in there. And I carry with me as well, I haven't put it in yet, a small funnel so that if I do have to add oil or anything like that on the road, I can do it without making an absolute mess all over the side of my bike. In the side pockets of my tea bag here, I've got sunscreen, my glasses, and an extra pair of sunglasses. And yes, boys and girls, that's right, that's a flask, and it's got whiskey in it. My tradition is at the end of the day, after a good ride, I always toast that day and the ride with a shot of whiskey. In the other side bag is, I've got a book, I've got envelopes, and then I carry maps in here as well. The envelopes I keep my receipts in because I am one of those guys who saves receipts on the trip. In the cooler right here, I carry breakfast and snacks, and some down in the bottom, a couple of ice packs and usually some summer sausage, trail mix, things like that, so that I don't have to stop every day on the road and have lunch. A lot of the hotels have breakfast, but in this age of COVID, for some reason, evidently you can catch COVID by eating breakfast in a hotel. So they've quit offering the free breakfasts. And I've got these little collapsible bowls right here. And since hotels still have either microwaves or coffee makers, I can heat up some water, mix up a bowl of oatmeal, and there you go. This takes up absolutely minimal space, and it just tucks right into the front pocket of my cooler, along with a couple of plastic spoons, and I carry some napkins, some sugar, things like that in there as well. So one of the things I do to prepare for the trip is make sure that all my tools, all my necessities are ready to go. And I walked through that with you on an earlier video, what my toolkit looks like and what I carry. I've added a couple of additional things. So you saw one of these little pucks in the saddlebag. I carry these with me just in case of emergency. The flashers on the bike work really well, and they're pretty bright, but it never hurts to have a little extra. And so this thing has about 400 different modes that you can set it to. And it can be seen at night a long way away. Not only can set this on the ground and it'll draw people's attention, but it also has a super bright light to use as a flashlight, and it's got a magnet here and a hook right here, so you can hang it if you need to. Hang it off the side of your bike or hang it in front of the engine if you need to work on it, something like that. Works really, really well, and I carry 2 of those with me. In the tea bag, the pocket that I use for my maps, yes, I carry maps. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I don't like GPS. I will use it if I have to. Sometimes it will come in handy, but more often than not, I've been led down the garden path by a GPS telling me the wrong directions or the really long way to get there. These maps, many of these I get for free because pretty much every state has a tourism board, and if you write to them or get hold of them on email, they will send you not only maps, they'll send you activity guides and calendars of events and sign you up for really annoying emails that tell you when the next largest ball of twine festival is in East Nowhere, Texas. But these maps, the Rand McNally ones, they're getting a little difficult to find sometimes. I had some real trouble finding some for Nebraska a couple of years ago. But these maps I carry with me. Usually every state I'm going to have them. So for this trip, I'm going to have 11 different maps with me because we are going through 11 different states. And they just tuck right into the side pocket of my tea bag. How the hell do I know where I'm going? I'm all about loading up the bike and taking off. With no trip plan, no idea where I'm going, no direction that I know that I'm headed, I'm just going to go. Which is great for a couple of days or maybe even a week. But on an extended trip like this, I plan. And part of it is I want to see some tourist attractions. I want to see some places that are out of the ordinary that I may not find if I'm just blasting down the road. So to know where I'm going and how I'm going to get there on any given day, I have my own GPS. There it is. So I look at my directions and where I want to go for the next day, and I write it out on a sticky pad and I stick it to the inside of my windshield. Okay, go ahead and laugh at me. Everybody else does. But you know what? I don't really care because this thing's great. I can tailor the directions how I want them to go and not be stuck to some mechanical whim of Google or Garmin or whoever else. Plus, I don't have this damn phone sticking up on my handlebars because I don't need any distractions. When I'm riding, my phone stays in my saddlebags or in my pocket. I prefer to use Google Maps. A lot of good mapping software is out there. There's Bing Maps, there's MapQuest, the granddaddy of them all, I think, as well as Harley's Ride Planner, which works fairly well. Indian now has a ride planner that takes a little getting used to, but it works well. The problem I have with Google, and actually most of these mapping softwares, is they don't always designate which roads are paved and which ones aren't, and they really should do that. I know the technology's there. It's just a matter of whatever geeks they have working for them writing the right code. If a paper map can do it, Google can do it. There's some other ones. One I tried using called Furkot, Furkot, that it worked pretty well, but it, again, takes some getting used to. And I'm just so well versed with using Google Maps and being able to tweak it however I want. That's my preferred mapping program. So to do laundry, I found these little packages at one of my local grocery stores. I want to say they were $1.98. And each little package has 3 of these packets of soap in it. Each packet does a load. So for the amount of space that 4 of these packages takes up, I've got enough to do laundry anywhere I am on the road. My bike's been serviced, but this is a 10,000 mile trip, and about halfway through I'm going to need an oil change. So I've made arrangements with a shop to do an oil change on my bike. And when I mention things like this, I've done this on a couple of occasions on really long trips, people always say, well, why don't you change the oil yourself? You know, go to O'Reilly's or go to AutoZone or go to a Harley shop and buy the oil and buy the filter and change it in the parking lot. Okay. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Number one, and mostly, I'm not going to lay on the ground on an asphalt parking lot when it's 100 damn degrees out and try and change my own oil. And just dumping the oil in a parking lot is kind of frowned upon by now, you know. So finding a drain pan or a method to get rid of the oil is kind of a pain in the ass as well. So I make arrangements for it, and not just for that reason. I'm going to be in some pretty remote areas, and it's worth the $40 labor they're going to charge me to change my oil for them to look over the bike at a midway point during the trip. If I have a leak that's sprung up or if I have a problem that I may not notice on a daily walk around, it's going to be good to know that. So, bike's all loaded up, everything's serviced, everything's ready, the trip plan's made, and I'm getting ready to head out. Hopefully I'll see you on the road. But in the meantime, if you like what you see on my channel here, please subscribe, hit the button, hit the little bell. It notifies you when new videos are posted. I'm going to try and do one every week. I say try because you know how it is. You're on the road. You can't plan everything out as much as my brain would like me to be able to do that. But stay tuned. There's going to be some real interesting rides, some real interesting places we're going. I'd love to share them with you. So keep your knees in the breeze. We'll talk soon.